So I know 2 or 3 of my friends who completely got scammed, and it was like $2,600. This is where the music starts. Ironically, today I spoke that one liner, and today is the day when the battery of this little thing died. It's so funny.
The new sound of the 80s. Suddenly you hear it everywhere. It's all beat and all talk. It tells you a story and makes you want to dance. Steve Fox examines an overnight phenomenon, rapping to the beat.
So almost done with the day, and before I finish today's vlog, I would like to discuss few things which happened during the day. In the morning I was rushing because I was supposed to meet one friend, and she wanted to discuss few things about the new job offer she has got. And with reference to that incident, I would like to discuss few things which are needed to be considered before you come here in Canada. If you are living here in Canada, then you might have already experienced these things, or you might not have already experienced these things, but just stick with it, because you will learn few things which might help you in preventing this particular incident from happening in your life. So I would like today's topic to be the scams which happen here in Canada, right? Those are totally ridiculous scams, and the people who are not aware about this, they end up being scammed like really bad. I was also potential victim of this scam, and almost everybody who comes here or who lives here becomes the victim of those scammers. So first of all, before I begin, I would like to share my experience, and that experience goes back to when I was in university, right? And once you come here, and once your phone number gets shared to the places, you would be giving your number to public places, or anything, your number would get shared by, I don't know how those scammers find your number, but that is not the thing. Getting your number shared is not in your hand. Getting your phone number is not hard, right, for anyone. Getting your phone number is not hard for anyone. It can be real easy, simple task which can be accomplished by anyone, especially these scammers, right? This happened during my initial months here in Canada, and most of the time it happens at that time, because at that time people are mostly vulnerable. They don't know these things, and they end up being scammed. So it was around 10 a.m. in the morning, and I received a call. I received a call from totally unknown number, and I just picked up the call, and it went something like this. Yeah, hello, am I speaking with Unit Metalia? Yeah. I was like, yes, you are speaking with Unit Metalia. What's up? And with no reason or whatsoever, that person started speaking. So yeah, I received that call, and first during the initial minutes of that call, all that person said was like, he tried to appear professional over the call and tried to build some kind of rapport before he starts scamming me. Before he starts attempting to scam me. And it went something like this, my name is XYZ, PQR, ABC, and all those kind of. And it was like, I'm calling you from Canada Revenue Agency. Those were the words which I remember very precisely. And if you just if you just type this thing, Canada Revenue Agency, on Google, then you will find lots of results about people sharing their experiences. And it's very easy for them to trick you, very easy for them to scare the shit out of you. I was also scared to death after receiving their call. I thought, this is it, this is the end of the life, this is the end of the life in Canada. But it was not, it was not until I found out that these are the scammers, these are the stupid scammers trying to scam me with stupid reasons. And I'm not lying, but I know 2 or 3 friends who completely got scammed by these particular people. And the main reason for anyone to get scammed by these people is they feel shy to share it with their friends, right? They think it would be a very shameful experience for me to share it with my friends, and they don't share it with anyone. And it just makes them the biggest victim of these particular scams. And ironically, it's more shameful to share this experience after you totally get scammed, rather than sharing it with people, rather than sharing it with your friends before it happens, right? So don't be afraid about this thing to share with your friends. So I know 2 or 3 of my friends who completely got scammed, and it was like $2,600, 26 or 20. They ask for like whatever amount you have, they share some kind of link with you, and they just tell you to sign up for that link and share your critical banking information on that link, on that web page. There you go. That is the point where you are completely scammed by those people. They seem very professional. They make it look like they are really calling you from Canada Revenue Agency, and the stuff they speak, like they are very professional at doing this. And it is being happening since very long time, since like years. So they are very professional at it. Just don't believe them. Whenever you receive the call, just inform your friend, or just the best way to handle this situation is just ignore those calls. It won't be the first time you will be receiving those kind of calls. You are going to receive those kind of calls a lot of times, a lot of times than you can think of. Once your number starts being shared at the places where it is not supposed to be shared, then you are going to receive those calls. Like this particular friend, he has received a call, and on call he was being informed that just visit this link, just enter your information, and you will be safe. Nothing will happen to you. You will not be being sent to your home country if you do that, and those kind of things. And as vulnerable as my friend was, he ended up entering those information, and the scammers took all the amount he had in his bank account, and he was left with nothing but $0 in his bank account. Can you imagine? It's totally ridiculous for something like that to happen. It just takes you into the situation where no one would like to be, and it just, there are some preventive steps. If you take those steps as fast as you can, then it might bring you luckily that friend contacted the bank, and the bank froze his account, and he was safe, right? But this is not the guarantee that you will not end up being scammed. So this is not the certain thing to happen. The best way to prevent that particular thing from happening is to just ignore those calls. Just don't think much, just don't dwell into that, just completely ignore those calls. Just completely ignore those calls. Those calls are not meant to be taken into consideration that much seriously. So just ignore those calls. The incident which happened with this particular girl is it was a company. It was paying very good amount to her, and the work was nothing. Like all she was supposed to do just to attend some Skype calls, and that's it. And the pay was ridiculously awesome. So here in Canada, if it seems too good to be true, then it's probably not true. Just keep that thing in mind. I wish everybody who comes here know this fact that scams happen here in Canada. No country is safe from the scammers. Scammers are everywhere. The other friend of mine, he lost $1,800, and he immediately called the bank. He immediately called the bank and told them about this situation, and the bank froze his account, and he got prevented from being scammed, right? So this kind of thing happen. If you lose $2,600 or $3,000 right after coming here, then it's very big deal. It's very big deal. I'm glad that friend called me for inquiring about this particular situation. Inquiring about this new ridiculously glorious job offer she has received, and it turned out to be a scam. So that I got an idea for making a video for you guys. And there was one trick which I shared with her, and which I would like to share with you guys as well. So if you feel like this is a scam, like, you should not search whether whether XYZ thing is a scam or not. You should not search like that. What you should search is search these terms: XYZ scams, XYZ scam happened with me. These particular terms, just don't ask Google whether it is a scam or not. Ask the Google this question, that XYZ is a scam. Because it's practically like telling something a scam first, and then later finding out it was not a scam. It is a lot better than saying something which is this is not a scam and end up being a victim of that particular scam, right? So just what I made her to do is, that company was named let's say that company was named Yellow Tree, right? That company was named Yellow Tree. So Yellow Tree has offered a very good job to her, and they were paying really nice amount to her. When I read the description, I also started being skeptical about that particular thing. She was also a little bit skeptical about that thing. That is why she called me and asked me to have a little conversation about that particular thing. So I made her to search this particular term on Google, and right after she searched for this term, Yellow Tree scams, she found lots of results on Google, YouTube, everywhere, right? People sharing their experiences, people dwelling up to people sharing their experiences being all real, and it was real scam. To give you a little glimpse, it was they were asking few $100s in front. They were asking you to give them few $100 before you join the team. That kind of chain marketing and all those things. Fortunately enough, she did not go there for an interview, and she got prevented, right? So that was very insightful thing which I wanted to share today, and I hope you gained some experience. You should share this video with whoever is coming here in Canada and make them aware about this thing. There are a lot more scams than I can think of. I was going back home and I thought to make a video, but I would make very precise, very informative video about scams in Canada. All the scams and how you can prevent those scams from happening. But for the moment being, if it seems too good to be true, then it's not probably true, right? So just keep that thing in mind, and don't be afraid about telling this to your friend if something like this happens. Otherwise you will end up being very stupid fellow, who just shamelessly vanished his account and his bank account, and he's left with nothing, right? No one likes to be like that, right? So just don't be afraid about sharing it with people. You will be more shameful if you don't share such kind of thing with your friends, before it happens, because once it happens, there is no point in sharing it, right? Your friends will not be able to do anything. And once you come here, especially if you come here for study, then during your first days, almost every college and every university, like every college and every university has these kind of seminars, workshops, which are particularly dedicated to the scams which are happening here in Canada, and how you can prevent yourself from those scams to happen. So it's okay if you miss all the other workshops, but don't miss these particular workshops, because they are very helpful, like financially very helpful to you. If something very horrible happens, then yeah, just attend those seminars. I remember so many things from those workshops, and the one and only thing which I would like to share with you guys is, here in Canada nobody asks to give the critical information via phone or email or by any means. If Canada government has got any kind of problem with you guys, then they will contact you by mail, paper mail, or in person. Those are the mediums which Canada government follows in order to contact you. So don't worry about anything which you receive by call or email. Those are potentially scams. If you receive something by mail, like post or in person, then you should believe that. Otherwise, don't believe anything which you receive by phone or email, or anything you receive digitally. So just don't worry about that. That is the thing which I would like to share with you guys. And yeah, just keep this thing in mind. I don't want the viewers who are watching this video to be scammed. So yeah, that's it for today. I will see you guys in next vlog.